It's time for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, the show that helps you be prepared to care for your family regardless of the circumstances that may come your way. Now, here's your host for today, Mark Lamb.
Well, we're in the studio with Glenn Boblitz, taking a little bit of a different camera angle today. Glenn and I will occasionally veer off into some politics. And actually, not too long ago, you and I went off for about 9 minutes, and I just went ahead and I told you we're going to extract that.
Probably best. There was an FCC license at stake, and it wasn't quite that bad.
We're not going to extract it today because that is today's topic. Part of sustainable living is to help you understand that you can make it on your own, because we may be forced into a scenario where we will have to make it on our own. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What would that unraveling be, and what it could look like, and how we're getting there thanks to current trends.
Right. We've been going backwards for so long. We're really working hard to be sustainable and build our little mini farms or just our home.
Right.
Even if it's a garden patio, you've paid for everything on that garden patio, and it just keeps costing you more. You keep your job, and you're going backwards all the time, and you're going, something has to be done, And the amount of taxes we pay, taxes and fees, here, this, that, and the other, it's getting so out of control. Trump steps in and says, we're going to see where all this money went. And, oh, Lord, did that light a fire?
Yeah.
I wonder why. Well, no one's ever looked at it.
They haven't.
It's too much money. It's too much stuff. It's too much hidden waste. It's easier just to ask for more money.
Right.
Trump says, nah.
Yeah.
We got a way to find that out. Elon says, I can help you with that. And here we go, folks.
Well, the Rand Corporation, I don't know if you remember in the 80s when Reagan was president, about the government efficiency. That's where we found out we were paying for the $300 hammer and the $800 toilet seat. And of course, that took a long time for that study to be done. Now with AI, that can literally be done in hours.
Yes.
What took months can be done in hours now.
And the same way with blockchain information. You can't go back and change that because one block is stacked on the other. And that's the way the information is in there. You can access it all, but you can't go back and historically change it and cook the books.
Okay.
I think that's what XRP does really well, and they do it so fast. Anyway, with that's going to be a problem from people now on that are running a shady life within our government, because everything's going to be recorded and you can't go back and change it. I don't remember QuickBooks when it first come out.
Right.
That was the biggest thing. Oh, I've made a mistake here. I need to go back and change it. Well, you can't. It's just locked in, and you go, oh, crap.
Yeah.
So that led to some creative financing too, and probably the IRS says, no, you can't do that.
Right.
But at any rate, it may have been honest mistakes or whatever back then, but now somebody come in, and that'd be Donald Trump, and says, we're going to find out where our money's going.
Right.
We are just absolutely bleeding to death here.
We are.
And it's not just a little bit. It is such huge money, and we know that there was corruption within every three-letter agency out there. We just didn't know how bad.
The extent, sure.
And over the past couple months, people are just going, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Now, in order to fix that, you're going to have to tear it down,
Yeah, you tear it down is a great way to put it.
There is no...
Because there's really nothing there that's worth saving in some way. Some of these departments, you have 1,400 people. Their only job was to hand out phones and one other thing, and that was their sole job. The giveaways.
Right.
That was their job.
These NGOs that were created, and some of them were a good thing when they first got started, and then somebody said, you know what, we can use these to do other things.
Right.
and it just got so far out of control. Now that you said program it, when you're listening to all the things that Elon has found and all his people, and you go, I just can't believe they allowed this. Well, these are corrupt people. Believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way up. You know, Joe Biden got right on the air and said, you know, I told that prosecutor that he's going to drop the case. Blah, right on air. And at that moment, you ought to go, holy crap.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do that in any world.
Right.
And he's up there bragging about it.
He was bragging.
All right, so now we're finding all this stuff out of all these people that are running these NGOs and stealing money and you, regardless of what the program sounds like or how they named it, and it's named very obscure, so it
Right.
sounds like it's okay, but it's really not. And we know that America's not stupid.
Right.
We're just overworked and don't have the time to look at it ourselves. So here we go. Now everybody's freaking out because it's screwing up the economy. The tariffs are scaring everybody, and that's exactly what they're meant to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to poke us in the eye anymore. So we're getting into Trump territory and his policies. But all these NGOs have to go. America wants to see people go to jail over that, because that is just treasonous against our country. That's all you can say. They're just thieves.
Right.
Plain out thieves.
I mean, I think of pirates, man. I mean, they were sophisticated, white-collar pirates.
Absolutely.
And the sea was the $4+ trillion budget, and we're spending $2 trillion over because, you know, when COVID happened, they bumped it up to $2 more trillion, and they haven't pulled those back off the books.
Right.
So that money's still being taken and spent. And this is I can't remember, somebody said end to end. How many times, if you took $1 and you put it end to end, how many times it would go around the world to make $1 trillion?
Right.
It's some kind of a crazy
It is
scenario.
an astronomical amount of money.
And we overspend, you know.
And we say trillion like it, you know, it's
Right.
the new million.
Right.
Well, I'm here to tell you, trillion is way up there.
That's
and
a
we're
real
like
number.
35 trillion in debt, and it's because they stole it.
Right. And then $1 trillion every year now just in interest.
That is unsustainable, folks.
Yeah.
So, what do you do when you're in that kind of situation? You go, okay, you know, stop the bus.
Yeah, and
Stop the bus right here,
Right.
and let me off. And
Yeah.
I am going to go find a better bus.
Yeah.
Because this one's headed over the cliff. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at. And you can throw rocks at the policies from this administration, but it has to be done. Now, we're just bleeding to death, you know, dying from 1,000 paper cuts. These aren't paper cuts. These are deep slashes into your wallet.
Right.
So if you're not willing to put up a little more pain to rip the Bandaid off and get it healed up, because it is definitely corrupted and infected.
Well, see, here's the problem, Glenn. The government has us believing now that all they need to do is spend more money, that we can spend our way out
Start
of the hole.
another program. No.
It's done. We're done, people.
You let guys like me, who run my own little business, and you let me have my money. I'll make it grow.
Yeah.
I'll hire more people.
Sure.
And that's what it's all about. But I'm not going to let you take my tax money and do all that and think you're going to just spend it frivolously. Mm-hmm. I work too hard. I got too many calluses on my hand to get my money to give you up to 50% of my money that I work for. Mm-hmm. And Ronald Reagan said it, you know, get out of my pocket. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Well, you got to find out who's dipping
in it?
in your pocket.
Who's dipping in the pocket?
Well, they're finding this out. And, you know, people are getting all wigged out over this and saying, you know, the economy's sliding, blah, blah, blah. But it's an infection that's been going on a long time. You
Right.
know, we raised a lazy group of young people, and not all of them. Don't throw rocks at me just because you're young, but look around you. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
Yeah. I got an illustration I want to throw your way. Have you ever got a cortisone shot because you
Nope.
got a bad knee or anything?
Not yet.
Well, I haven't either, but I've had plenty of friends. And you can only get so many cortisone shots. Your body can only handle so many. Well, what a cortisone shot or like a, what is it called? Steroid shot.
Right.
It'll pump you back up. It'll get you going. You know, you may be still damaging the elbow, but you're functional now because you got that cortisone shot or a steroid shot. You can only get so many of those. And then it's permanent damage is happening. And we keep getting cortisone shots.
Right.
We keep getting steroid shots. And we're like, whoo, look at the stock.
Print more money.
Right.
Give me my steroid shot.
Yeah. Look at the stock market. It's setting records. I didn't study enough history to know that how great the stock market was going in the 20s before it went nuts back in the 1920s. But, we were celebrating. It was good times because they called it the Roaring 20s for a reason. And then what happened at the end of the Roaring 20s?
The bubble burst, yeah.
It was a big
manipulated
bubble, too.
They manipulated that stock market to the point of collapse.
Mm-hmm. And people jumped out of buildings.
Yeah, and these people didn't. People jumped out of buildings, had no idea what was happening. Because you can't pay attention to it all. You can't dig into it all. You can't see it all. You can't know it all.
Right.
But there was people within our own country that didn't give a crap about the country. They cared about their bank accounts. Mm-hmm. And they said, we'll burn the country down as long as we're rich.
Right.
Well, that's what's happening to the whole darn world. It's not just America. I mean, you look at these other countries that are saying the same thing. Wow, Doge is a really good idea. Maybe we need to do that. Yeah. And the first thing Britain says, you shut up.
Yeah, and Britain's
that
on the
should
edge.
be your first sign
Yeah.
that there's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
Seriously wrong, folks.
Mm-hmm.
We just happen to be the first country to do it. It's worldwide. And they've all been playing this game just like they did back in the 1920s, only they're just playing it a little differently.
Yeah.
It's out of your sight. You can't see it. And it's crept into every department we have. And thankfully, we're getting rid of some of that.
Yeah.
Now we've got judges involved. Now, these judges that were put in place are getting pressure. Now, they owe a favor because they got that judgeship or however it is, their political affiliation. They feel obligated to do it. Whatever is going on, it's happening to us, and it's stopping the good flow of the fix.
Yes.
We need to fix this thing, and we're trying desperately to do that. We, meaning the whole country, we voted for Trump to fix this.
Right.
Okay, this is what we voted for. So don't complain a whole lot about this because he's going to have to tear it down. Now, some of the things that he's done, is there mistakes made? Sure, but they're micro mistakes.
Right.
Easily fixed.
Yeah.
Sorry, people.
Yeah.
If you build a house, you're eventually going to whack your finger with a hammer.
Right.
You put a Band-Aid on it and you keep going. It doesn't mean you burn the house down just because you whacked your finger.
Yeah.
Okay, because so much is being done.
It is.
You're going to have hiccups.
Sure you are.
But we already know that our system is so flawed, we have to fix it now. We have to tear this wall down.
Well, that's it.
Because it was built wrong. It's been run wrong. I want it done right.
Let's use you both construction. You're still in it. I have a background in it. If you hit a pipe with a screw, because you screwed the cabinet, it had it happen once. We screwed a vanity in. I nicked a pipe. Okay? Did they condemn the whole house? No. I pulled my vanity out. We cut the drywall. The plumber came in, fixed the pipe, covered the drywall back up, cabinet back in place. It's a fix.
Right.
But the Democrats want to say, "Oh my God, you got a leak over there." And I don't mean to just pick on the Democrats here, right? Because there's
plenty of Republicans take some blame here too.
And we know the media is in the back pocket of the left. That's who I really want to go after is the left, whether you're Republican or Democrat, because they're in both. But you don't condemn the whole house. You fix the pipe, damn it, and you move on. Right. Come on, people. Yeah, now we forget about it. It's fixed. They want to keep drudging up old stuff because they're running out of,
That's all they have.
Right.
They don't have any kind of plan for America. They got plans for themselves. Mm-hmm. and their constituents
Right.
that within their little money circles. And we know this.
Yeah.
We're not stupid. We know how that game is played. Well, I'm tired of playing the game.
Yeah.
You know, you've been in my pocket long enough. And I think people are just checking out. You know, they just absolutely checked out and say, I'm not playing this game no more. And a lot of people have run off into the wilderness and built a homestead. There's so many people that are buying land and just say, I just want to be a little farmer and left alone. Well, that's the mentality that we want because it's just so ugly.
Yeah.
But that's not a society. That is not
Right.
a community. And people are just checking out. Well, I'm not one of them guys. I'm not going to check out. I'm going to stand up and say my piece, whether I can get anything done or not. We've got a little homesteading festival coming up on May 3rd. And we're going to talk more about this. As people come in, we're going to get people to feel like they have hope and actually show them where it's at. Because if you listen to the media, as you should not, or at least most of it, it just beats you down. And
Right.
that's their whole propaganda.
They want to discourage you.
Fear-monger, all that. Just go, I don't believe that no more.
Right.
I don't believe what you said. I'm not going
Right.
to believe you anymore. You can beat up all the Teslas you want, and I'm going to throw you in jail for it, but I'm moving forward. It's a tough road to hoe here, folks.
It is.
Don't complain about what you asked for.
Yeah. Well, it's the darkest before the dawn. And, you know, Trump talked about a golden age, and that could be possibly where we're going if we can turn this around. You've got to let these guys do their jobs. Why would you not? I mean, there's companies, big companies, that come in and say, we've got waste. Help us find it.
Right.
And we don't bat an eye over that. People usually lose their jobs when that happens.
Right.
And you find out where the inefficiencies are. Well, our government is full of inefficiencies. By the way, I looked up, that was phones and laptops. 400 employees, their only job was to hand out free laptops and phones to people. In the IRS, by the way.
Oh, they weren't free. You and I paid.
Oh, we paid for
them.
them, right.
I wish they would quit saying that too. You know. So, by the way, did you know that you paid for all these phones that was given away for free? Now that's a different statement.
Yeah.
So, but ain't nothing free, folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've been just dipping in your pocket to make it seem free.
Yeah.
And buy votes. We need to fix that. One of the biggest things is these elections are coming up. I don't want to have another election until the election process is fixed. And I don't mean in a bad way. I mean
Right.
the real good fix.
Yeah, the fix is...
I want to see some identification.
Everybody gets one vote if you're
one
legal.
vote, yeah, absolutely. If you got to put your thumb in some purple ink, like they
Yeah.
do in third world
Yeah.
countries, for God's sake,
Yeah.
to prove that you are voting for who you're voting for. And I don't give a darn if it takes 3 days to count the
I don't either.
votes, but it shouldn't.
It shouldn't. You're right.
No, because your election boards in your own county should be able to count your county.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you total up all the counties and go, okay,
Well,
this
but
state
the problem
vote-
is, Glenn, we've got 10,000 citizens, but I've got 25,000 votes. How do we get...
and half the graveyard voted, for goodness sakes. You know, and as soon as I find that, and I find out who did that, that's treason. That is the most treasonous thing you can do
Yeah.
is to fix
Falsify it. Yeah.
Fix this election by falsifying votes.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of people that died to give you that vote,
That's right.
give you that right to vote,
Yes, sir.
and give us this Constitution. I mean, a lot, and still dying to protect it. Well, it's been so damaged. Now somebody's going to have to pay that penalty. There's always a penalty for stupidity.
Right.
So I hear it all the time. People want to see somebody go to jail.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah. So if it's got to get bad before it can get better, let's talk about it getting bad. Does that mean I don't think gas prices are going to go up, because I think Trump is going to handle that aspect, which will help stabilize some of the other stuff.
He can subsidize this up to a point.
Yeah.
As long as we can start drilling and releasing
Right.
some of our energies that we have here to produce electrical energies. I mean, You and I, yes, we drive, but you turn on the lights every day.
Yeah.
You turn the faucet on, kicks the pump on, whatever. You use a lot of electricity, and those bills just keep going up.
Sure.
And a lot of that is from the fuel costs that the power company has to absorb in order to get you that electricity. Right. Well, when they cut coal out, that just drove everything up because coal was cheap. And they already had the plants built. It was fairly easy to maintain. Now they want all this green energy stuff, and that's screwed everything up.
That's got to be one of the things that we turn around. 2035, the state of New York, you will not be able to buy, apparently, a brand new combustion engine. Virginia latched on. That was the California law, I believe, that everybody latched on, including our state. Now, unless we get a turnaround, Youngkin's never had a House or Senate in the Republicans' favor for him. It's always been right there at the edge. I think if we have a good election, he can spend, I think he's got, he'll have a few months potentially, or will he run out of time? I'm trying to remember now. He may run out of time.
Yep.
He will run out of time. So we need to make sure our next Republican governor, which I think will be Winston Sears, I hope, get her a Republican Congress and state Senate, because if we don't turn that around, Virginia will have to abide by some of the silliness that Governor Northam put into place while he was destroying our state on the way out the door, by legalizing marijuana and other things that he did. Now, if it gets worse before it gets better, how are we going to be able to explain that to people? I mean,
well, if you have any common sense at all, and you know that he has stopped the bleeding of money and the theft of money through all these programs, these NGOs,
right?
And you're still going to complain, you're an idiot.
Yes.
There's no other way to sit that. Let's use a little common sense. And if he's stopping people from stealing out of your pocket, that's a good thing, because they were stealing it by the trillions, not millions, not billions, trillions. Now his administration's only been at this a couple months.
Right.
Wow. What's he going to do by the end of 4 years? If he can stop all that, we'll be way ahead of the game.
We will be. And we will have gone through, I think, the hardest part by then.
We don't see all the deals that's going on and the policies that are trying to, but I'm here to tell you, business around the world is looking to us. They want to come here because there's a good policy about to happen. The rest of the country is not, the rest of the world is not doing this.
Right.
It's the only country where they're saying we're going to get rid of the corruption, and it actually doing it. Most countries that say that are the corrupt.
Right, the wink nod, yeah.
So he is attracting a lot of big money because they know that they can't make it in those other countries. Ukraine, that is the worst damn decision we ever made. We should not be supporting a corrupt president.
Yes.
He is a corrupted,
who, by the way,
and we knew it.
Yeah, and he backed out of the deal, I guess you've heard in the last couple of days.
Sure he does.
Made a deal, came and embarrassed our president in the Oval Office, then said, okay, well, I'll do a deal. They apparently did a deal, and now he has backed out of that deal, and this is for the minerals and such. Because Trump says, look at the money we've invested. We want something in return.
Exactly.
Come on. We're going to shut you down.
And it's not like it was some small deal. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are for the amount of billions that we sent him to save him from Putin. Well, I'm looking at Putin and going, ain't no wonder Putin's pissed. He's dealing with this corrupt guy who's trying to get in the pocket of Europe and already been in our pocket.
Yeah, sure.
Putin goes, well, I'm kind of on the outside here, and they're doing these dirty deals. So there's no way to know what goes on behind closed doors like that, but it ain't closed doors. He's a corrupt idiot.
Right.
Well, I need to quit saying that. He's not an idiot. He's just corrupt. Mm-hmm. And look at the amount of money that's gone through that they can't identify where it went. 16 billion here, 16 billion.
Right. Right.
Where'd it go?
Right. And
we can't account for that. Okay, stop the bus.
If we compared Ukraine to a state, I know it's a big land. There's a lot of, I guess, agriculture and such. If we were comparing it to a state, I don't know what would be a close state. Would the state of Texas or the state of Florida, Georgia maybe, be the size of Ukraine?
Yeah.
So if we, and it was $100 billion they couldn't account for. If the state of Georgia, for example, couldn't account for $100 billion, I mean, this would be scandalous.
Well,
it should be.
Why isn't California getting busted, you know? But anyway, California's a whole different story because it's a different animal. But yeah, it's corrupt. We all know it's corrupt, and why are we dealing with them? Mm-hmm. Do not yoke up with those kind of people.
Right.
You just, okay, that's how you want to be, and Europe's going to come in to be the white horse savior.
Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Spend your money for a change.
You notice how fast they started backpedaling and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody's after something out of Ukraine. Well, everybody knows about the rare earth minerals now, but they don't think it's quite as much as what they had thought there was there. Mm-hmm. But they're also an agricultural producer, and a lot of wheat and things come out, but a lot of bomb craters in the wheat field now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, if it's that corrupt going on, do you think any deal you'd make with this guy is going to be any good? It's not.
No.
Let him fold like an envelope. Mm-hmm. Now, do we want to see Putin get a hold of it? Probably not.
Probably not.
So there's the rub. Do we defend him against Putin? You know, sometimes you just got to let people fight it out.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you come in and you say, okay, that's it, guys. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Trump's trying to do. He's saying, look, y'all are killing each other. You're not getting anything solved. Have you had enough?
You know
are
what
you
really
done yet?
Ticks me off is the news media. They if this was an Obama or a Biden or a Clinton, he's so compassionate. He's compassionate. He doesn't want them to lose their young men. Well, you know, you got Elon and Trump both out there saying their human resources are being slaughtered every day on both sides. Both sides.
Yep.
Because there are humans on both sides, whether you're a Russian or a Ukraine. And you know what? I've got a daughter-in-law who has not talked to her Ukrainian cousins, not because she doesn't want to talk to them. There's families that have been divided because of this war.
Right.
Not talking to each other.
Yep.
And that's tragic in and of itself, but even more tragic are the young men that are dying.
Yeah,
what?
The very people that you're going to depend on if you're making these deals with this foreign country, Ukraine, the very men that you're going to need to make this deal with that are going to do the work to get you the minerals or whatever, if that's what you're after, or the grains and that kind of thing. Who's going to work all that industry? Mm-hmm. You've killed by the hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
So it'll take decades for that to come back.
A generation or two to stabilize it
so
again.
So you've lost that whole gap of productivity. So it's not making sense. You know, it really is not.
Oh, but Glenn, you know when we had to pull our children out of school for COVID. Oh, it's going to be decades for us to restore those lost years. You know, that's and I'm being facetious, obviously.
Sure.
But we'll think in those terms for us.
Right.
But we won't think about a generational difference in Ukraine and or Russia, because that is the real loss.
Right.
The loss of life. Like you say, these were engineers, farmers, probably people in the arts.
When you're conscripted in, they don't care what your business was or whether you had some high-paying job or you have some high skill. You hadn't have a rifle in your hand.
Right.
Well, that's what that is. That's what war does. You either fight for your country or we're going to shoot you anyway.
Right.
That's how they deal with that over there.
Let's take a break here, and when we come back, I know we've thrown out a lot of stuff on the table. It's kind of like my taxes. Let's take all the papers and sort of sort them out. when we come back, and let's talk about, what we're potentially facing, what we can do to get through it, because it will be difficult. We're in the studio with Glenn Baublitz. It's a different version of sustainable living. Today, we've kind of gone off the deep end with some political talk. And if you're still listening at this point, you probably want to hear what we have to say after the break.
Come on back.
Get ready for a new soundtrack for your life. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake. It's music that'll take away your troubles for a while.
That's what I'm talking about!
Wake up with Janet and Mark on the Morning Jam. They'll keep you informed and encouraged, and we all need more of that.
This ain't jam.
You're invited to be a part of the Doc Rock family, your feel-good station. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake.
We're back with more Sustainable Living with Glenn Baublitz. Be sure to look for Sustainable Living on Facebook for even more information and follow-up conversations with other members. Now, here's your host, Mark Lamb.
Okay, Glenn, before the break, I talked about, like your desk that's got papers all over it. Let's sort of categorize and pull together, because when you came in today, you go, Mark, you see, I don't have my book with me.
Yeah.
Which is the book of and that book is Glenn's brain, I think, partially anyway.
Absolutely. Temporarily, anyway.
Of all the things he studied as far as sustainable living goes, and soils and everything and anything, slaughtering a cow or a pig or whatever. He doesn't have that book today. He comes in with a heavy heart, and so do I, because Glenn and I usually chit-chat after we shut the mics off, because we typically don't go political. But we have today because we're at a crossroads,
right,
in our country's life, and I think we've outlasted most. We're
right.
supposed to celebrate 250 years this year.
Pretty much unheard of.
Yeah, so for us to, I think, make it another 50 even.
Right.
These changes that are with Doge, you can believe what you want to believe about Doge. All I know is Elon Musk is not taking a paycheck that I'm aware of. Of course, he doesn't need one. I believe he truly wants to see our country get straightened out, and he's working with Donald Trump, and they've exposed some really bad things that we've only probably scratched the surface.
The smartest thing I think that I can do for myself, and I suggest you do it too, is not listen to the propaganda that you're being told.
Right.
Because it takes all your hope away.
Mm-hmm.
When there is hope on the horizon, there's just going to be a Bandaid ripping for a little bit.
Right.
Now, our fuel prices are starting to stabilize, and I think Trump has helped that.
Mm-hmm.
Our economy, beef prices have gone through the roof,
right?
And that's because of these tariffs and things that are going on. We understand that, but you need to understand what the tariff war is all about. He's putting tariffs on these countries that are unfairly shipping us all their goods and taking none of ours.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. It's got to be fair trade.
It's called a trade deficit.
You hear the words,
mm-hmm.
but you're not really understanding what it means in your pocket. So when a country like China says, we're going to manufacture all your pharmaceuticals for you, they're thinking way ahead. Now, they say, we're going to do them a penny a pill. In our country, it would cost 3 cents, 10 cents,
mm-hmm.
$1.
Right.
And you go, wow, that's a good deal. I could make them over there. Once they get everybody doing it, then they say, okay, now we're going up to 10 cents or we'll cut you off.
Right.
That's what's happening to us. So there's this trade deficit going on, and we've been hit by it for 50 years.
Sure.
Nobody's been tough enough to say, hold, stop. You're taking advantage of us. And Trump has turned around and says, you're taking advantage of my people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've heard him talk about this. I'm doing this for you. I'm fighting for you. He don't need this crap.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Elon
right.
don't
no,
need
neither
this
one
crap.
Of them.
So just realize that there's going to be a fight. When the man says, I'm fighting for you, that means there's a fight going on.
Right.
Okay, well, get in the fight.
Yeah.
Support this guy. That's what we're saying here, folks. So you're going to have to brace for impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm telling you. You're going to have to tighten up and get with like people like my little group that makes things sustainable, even if it's in a small way. If it's just growing your garden, growing a patio garden at $3 a pound for produce, if you don't have to pay $3 a pound, that's $3 in your pocket.
Right.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Just brace for impact. Do the community thing where you can share your resources and make it a little easier on you.
Yeah.
Get with the program here, folks, but don't whine and complain just because things are tough. Because if we'd let this continue on, we'd have been totally bankrupt. 35 trillion is not totally bankrupt. I'm thinking it is, but when the world cuts our money off, won't lend us any money.
Right.
That's where we were headed.
We're a risk, but we're not a big enough risk for them to say no yet.
Right. We were too valuable to them to say no. They don't give a crap about us.
Right.
They want what we have, and if they can get us in a financial and business deal that can take things away, that's what they will do. And Trump said, "Oh no, you're not.
Right.
We're going to settle this." And today's the day. We've been bullied by some of these other countries, and he's kind of tired of it. I'm kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
And we've got some corrupt people that we need to get rid of because they're selling us down the river here, folks.
Yeah.
And that's what this Doge is doing. We're finding the thieves, and the swamp is draining.
Yeah.
And when you drain the swamp, you're going to see the snakes.
Oh, my God.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Quit complaining.
Yeah.
Just prepare.
Yeah. And this is his real attempt. I think he learned a lot on those 4 years that Biden was president. Unfortunately, we had to go through some difficult times. And maybe, we can do a future show on what it really means to have 11 million plus people come over illegally, and who was part of. Because there is agitators and disruptors, I'm sure, in that grouping of people that were sent in. I mean, when you've got, I think it's been pretty well documented that Venezuela took, some of their hardened criminals and said, go find your new life in the United States of America.
We'll get you up close as we can. We'll help you out of our country.
Right.
Now, why do you think they did that? They didn't want to have to support and feed them people.
Right.
I'm just saying, folks, if we don't get something under control with immigration, that's a whole nother thing. And it's not just Mexican people or the Venezuelan or, them people come here to work. And God bless them for doing it.
Yeah.
Let's do it the right way. I get all
yeah.
that. It is the agitators.
Right.
It is the propaganda arm of these other countries that want to see us fail.
I mean,
and
the FBI
said, want to see us fail.
Right. The FBI, I think, has been pretty clear that Chinese nationalists and others have come across our border. I mean
they can do a lot of espionage during a all-out war. You have saboteurs. Well, these saboteurs are on a different level. They're not, blowing up railway stations. They are just agitating people so you can't do your job. There's going to come actual terrorist attacks. There's no doubt. But it's not like they're going to blow up dirty bombs all over the city, which they might, but I doubt it. They will attack our infrastructure, and we'll kill ourselves.
Right.
That's the message that most preppers seem to understand. That all you got to do is turn off electricity or water, somebody, and everybody goes boo-hoo crazy.
Yeah.
So if you can survive, a month without power, you're pretty sustainable. If you can survive, a month without town water, you're pretty sustainable. And then there's the food and the medical and blah blah blah. That that's my whole program here is to try to be as sustainable like that as you can, or have enough resources that you can afford to share with your neighbor, so he's also sustainable because he may have resources that you need.
Right.
So, coming up on May 3rd. May 3rd, it's a Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. We're doing a little homestead festival. Got a few classes coming up to help you with this stuff.
Yeah.
Whenever I've ever done any kind of classes, was always lots of questions, and it's amazing that people are actually thinking about this, because 5 years ago they really weren't. They want to know now.
Right.
They want to know how to make a good garden better. So come on out. This is at the Lindan Ruatan Center, 2360 English Tavern Road. Turn left just below Kubota on 29. Come out and see us.
Okay.
We got food, some vendors, arts and crafts, kind of typical stuff, but we got free classes. If you got a little extra money you want to donate so we can continue doing these kind of classes, please do.
What's the time again?
10 to 4.
10 to 4, okay.
On May 3rd, which is Saturday.
All right.
Come out early. Come visit us. Come ask me a bunch of questions. Come have this conversation again. Get into it. If I don't have the answers, we'll find them.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I think we relieved the steam out of the valve for a little bit anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good for about a month.
Okay, good.
As long as I don't watch the news.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Glenn, as always, thank you for being with us and sharing your thoughts and concerns. In the meantime, thanks for listening. If you have a question for Glenn, you can always text it to us, 434-248-0704. That's 434-248-0704. Glenn, how can they get a hold of you? Through Facebook?
Get us on Facebook, Sustainable Living Made Easy with Glenn Boblets. Write a comment, suggest a show. Love to talk to you.
All right. See you next time.
All right.
Join us again next week for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblets, helping you be prepared and not scared. This podcast drops every Friday anywhere you get your podcast.